The Last 1%, written and narrated by Peter J. Merrick. Several years ago, I boarded a plane and traveled more than 2,500 miles to meet someone. I never thought much about the distance. If something mattered enough, then the miles were simply the price of admission. Airports, rental cars, hotel rooms, delayed flights, they were not obstacles. They were simply part of getting there. Long before the plane took off, I had already made my decision. I was going. When I arrived, I realized something I had not considered. I had completed 99% of the journey. The other person only needed to travel the remaining 1%, about 25 miles. They chose not to. The meeting never happened. For years, I believed that was the story. It was not. The real story was who I became because I took the trip. There was a time in my life when I would not have taken it at all. I would have waited for certainty. I would have hoped the circumstances became easier. I would have protected myself from disappointment by never giving life the opportunity to disappoint me. It felt safe. It was not. The greatest regrets in my life have never been the times things failed. They have been the times I never found out, the conversations I postponed, the opportunities I assumed would still be there tomorrow, the risks I quietly talked myself out of taking. Failure eventually leaves. What if? Rarely does. Somewhere along the way, I stopped trying to negotiate with uncertainty. I stopped asking life to promise me an outcome before I was willing to participate. Instead, I made a different agreement with myself. If something matters, I will move toward it. Not because I know how it will end, because I deserve to know how it ends. That single decision has brought more peace into my life than almost anything else. I no longer ask another person to complete my journey. I complete my own. Every one of us is walking a different road. Our experiences are different. Our fears are different. Our timing is different. I have no authority over another person's choices. I never did. The only life I have ever been responsible for is my own. Looking back, I have come to believe that we discover ourselves by rubbing up against the world. Reality has a way of introducing us to ourselves, not when everything goes according to plan, when it does not, when the answer is no, when the door stays closed, when life quietly asks, what are you going to do now? That is where characters is formed, not in certainty, in participation. Years ago, I thought this story was about someone who never took their 1%. Today, I know it was never about them. It was about me becoming the kind of man who no longer waits for guarantees before he acts. I would rather know the truth than spend years living with imagination. If something is meant to become part of my life, it will. If it is not, I will still be grateful that I had the courage to find out. Years ago, I believed I had only traveled 99%. I was wrong. The moment I stepped onto that airplane, my journey became 100% complete. The other person's 1% was never part of my journey. It was part of theirs. My responsibility was never to reach their destination. My responsibility was to complete mine. I did. And I have slept better ever since. Peter J. Merrick, A.K.A. Old Fart, still moving towards that 100%.